all of you. Today we will start with the lesson number 6, lines and angles, exercise 6.1. In that fifth question, up to 4 we explained yesterday. Okay, we studied yesterday. So now question number 5, all of you read. It is also a rider type of question only. Prove that. Okay, rider type of question. The meaning is that just like a theorem. In the figure, POQ is a line. See the diagram. POQ is a line. Clear? POQ is a line. The meaning is that straight angle. And what is OR? OR is a perpendicular to line PQ. OR is perpendicular. Perpendicular means the line forming is right angle. Clear? OS is another ray lying between rays OP and OR. See here, OS is another ray lying between OP and OR. Clear? So diagram understood now? Once more see the diagram. POQ is a line. POQ is a line. OR is a ray perpendicular to line PQ. Perpendicular means the angle here forming is 90 degree. And OS is another ray lying between OP and OR. Is it clear? Okay, lying between. Okay. Prove that angle ROS, that means which angle? This angle. Angle ROS, where teacher pointing there you see, is equal to half angle QOS minus angle POS. Actually, here you want to find out the difference between angle QOS and POS. Okay, in terms of ROS. That you want to remember. So that very easy, that a technique you are getting, we can able to prove it is very easy. So you find out the value of QOS and POS in terms of ROS. Okay. So listen. This much clear for in the question now. Now answer part listen. Here you can see angle QR how much got 90 already given in the question, because OR is perpendicular to PQ given, so this angle is 90 degree. Now very clearly you can say that angle POR and angle QOR forms a linear pair. Which one? Once more see. Angle POR, angle QOR forms a linear pair. So what is their sum? 180. Linear pair coming, the sum will be 180. See here. So that from that this one we can find out the value of angle POR. Okay, clear? So here POR plus QOR is equal to 180. It forms a linear pair. So POR plus the value of QR already given in the question, so I written in the place of QR 90 is equal to 180. So POR is equal to 180 minus 90. So what is the answer getting? 90. This is clear now? POR how much got? 90. See here, POR means this full angle you got as 90. POR is equal to what is? This full angle you got as 90. Very clearly you can say that this POR is already split in the form of which one? Angle POS and angle ROS. Okay, these two angles are what type of angle? Adjacent angles. Okay, that you leave there. This much clear up to POR is equal to 90, clear now? Yes. Then what teacher told them? You need an angle QOS and angle POS in terms of ROS. Okay, so we can find out the value of QOS first, then we can find out the value of POS, then we can subtract them. So that very easily, direct you will get the answer. Okay, so I am going to find out the value of QOS. So you first you identify QOS from where to where. Listen, where teacher pointing properly, listen here. QOS. Understood? This is the angle. So this angle is formed by two angles now. See here. What about this angle? This angle where teacher mark pointing you listen. Angle ROS, one angle, and angle QOR. What type of angles? QR or ROQ. I told you an angle we can able to name in three ways. How? One is, see here, angle QR or angle ROQ or angle O. Clear? So short way also we can name. So this angle ROS and angle ROQ both are what type of angles? Adjacent angles. So that if two adjacent angles are coming, we can able to add them now. Okay? So listen here. QoS. See here. QoS. How QoS getting? QoS is the union of two angles. So we can able to add them now. QoS is equal to ROS, angle ROS plus angle ROQ. Is it clear? I written the reason also in the bracket because angle ROS and angle ROQ are adjacent angles. Any doubt is here? Once more see. Angle QoS. Angle QoS is formed by these two angles. These two angles are what type of angles? Adjacent angles. So adjacent angles we can able to add always. Therefore angle QoS is equal to angle ROS plus angle ROQ. Clear? Yes. Therefore angle QoS is equal to angle ROS plus, what is angle ROQ? 90. Understood now? Clear? So I written now QoS in terms of ROS written. QoS we are written in terms of ROS. So but keep it as question number 1. Question number 1. Clear? This much clear? Same way we will express this POS also in terms of ROS. Are you following now? Yes. Listen here. Now next step you see. Here you can see POR. Very clearly knowing what is POR. We found out POR is equal to 90 degree. But can you able to split this POR? Can split now? Yes. You can split them. So this POR we can able to split and write. See here. Next point see. Diagram also, you keep your textbook also along with you so that if when I am rolling now you can see the diagram from the textbook. Okay. See here. POR. This is POR. POR how is getting? POS plus ROS. See here. POR is equal to POS plus ROS. But what is POR? 90 degree. And POS and ROS values you are not knowing now. Then we will find out POS alone in terms of ROS. Now POS keep here and this ROS coming this side, what will come? 90 minus ROS. POS is equal to 90 minus ROS. This ROS only going this side, therefore the sign of ROS only will change. So minus one number going to left side or right side, you properly listen the sign. Minus, very carefully you have to handle. Okay. So you got the value of POS. POS how much got? 90 minus ROS. See here. We found out the value of QoS in terms of ROS and POS in terms of ROS. See both the equations got now. Now you again go to your question. Question see. See the question. In the question what are the terms are there? ROS is there, POS is there, QoS is there. These all terms you got from the first and second equation. Now see, this is first equation and this is the second equation. You got in first and second, you got QoS and POS. Yes. Now what is you need in the answer? QoS minus POS. So what we will do? In the first and second equations, LHS will subtract and RHS will subtract. Clear? So see here. QoS minus POS is equal to, what's the value of QoS? ROS plus 90. Put in bracket always, minus, what's the value of POS? 90 minus ROS. Is it clear? Now open the bracket. ROS plus 90 when minus going inside the bracket, the sign will change. So minus 90 plus ROS. Clear? Are you following now? See here. Now, this 90 plus 90 minus 90 will cancel. So what is remaining there? ROS plus ROS. What is ROS? One pencil plus one pencil. How many pencil? Two pencil. So one ROS plus one ROS. How much will come? 2 angle ROS. 2 angle ROS, what you got? A QOS minus POS. Now what is the question? Prove that angle ROS is equal to. So ROS only you keep there. 2 bring this side. Here 2 multiplied now. Here what will happen? Divide. So direct teacher written here. Therefore angle ROS is equal to half angle QOS minus POS. Very easy to prove, no? Are you got the technique in the question? So find out QOS in terms of ROS and find the value of POS in terms of ROS, and what is need in the question on the basis you do. So what you would need? A QOS plus minus POS you need. So that only you done here. In the place of QOS you applied that value. In the place of POS you applied that value. Then open the bracket. 90 minus 90 will cancel. So ROS plus ROS, 2 ROS. Here you need only ROS. So 2 is multiplied along with this one. So 2 will divide here. That means you got 1 by 2 into QOS minus POS. Okay. Go through the rider properly. It is very important rider. In exercise 6.1 we explained including this one 2 riders, 2 or 3 riders. All the riders learn. It is just like a theorem only. So we are deducing from the theorem. That is why we are calling it as riders. Okay, go through the points. Go through some properly. Okay, copy it. Copy first. Now read question number 6, all of you. It is given that angle XYZ is 64 degree. Any one angle given as 64 degree. And XY is produced to point P. See here. XY extended to point P. Produced to point P. Draw the figure from the given information. We have to draw the figure from the given information. After that, XYZ you already drawn. Then this P you produced and you got the angle here. Okay, XYZ and this angle also got. Now, if ray YQ, this is ray YQ, bisects angle ZYP. ZYP means this angle. ZYP. Clear? Okay. Now, bisecting, what is the meaning? For example, one angle's measurement is 60 degree. So, here itself you think, this angle is 60 degree, this YQ bisecting. Then what is the meaning? This angle 30 and this is also 30. Dividing the angle into 2 equal parts. Dividing the whole angle into 2 equal parts we are calling as bisecting. So this angle 30 and this angle also 30. Clear bisecting? Clear? So this ray YQ bisecting angle is ZYP. Okay. So next question, find XYQ. XYQ. First of all, getting a question in the diagram itself, different times you draw the diagram. In the diagram itself, you yourself mark it. So you yourself different times marking now, we can able to find out the angles very easy. So what you want to find out? XYQ. XYQ means this angle, this angle. See where the pointer coming? This one. This much. Clear? And reflex angle QYP. So reflex angle QYP. So reflex angle QIP finding out. First of all, you need QI. Clear? So we can go to the sum. Clear the question? Okay. So question, listen the points. Angle XY is how much given? 64 degree. Is it clear now? Yes. And so angle XYZ and angle ZYP, what type of angle they are? They forms a linear pair because you know in YX, YP, non-common arms forms a line now. Therefore, angle XYZ and angle ZYP forms a linear pair. So what is their sum? 180. Linear pair means what is the meaning? Their sum will be always 180. So what we will write here? Sum is 180. And what's the value of XYZ? 64. In the place of XYZ you write the value 64 plus ZYP is equal to how much? 180. Following now? So angle ZYP is equal to 180 minus 64. How much getting? 116. This is a whole angle. This whole angle. How much got this angle? ZYP. This angle. How much got? 160. But now what is given in the question? In the question one point is given now. YQ bisects angle ZYP. YQ is the bisector. So what will be the measure of each angle? See here next point. Since YQ bisects ZYP, see here, ZYQ means this angle and QYP means this angle. That will be what? Half of the whole angle. Clear? That only I written here in the step. ZYQ is equal to QYP is equal to half of the whole angle ZYP. Therefore, ZYQ is equal to QYP is equal to half of 116. That is equal to how much got? 58. Once more we can go to the diagram. See, what is the measure of this angle? 58. What's the measure of this angle? 58. Now very easily you can find out all the angles. So this angle 58 got, this angle 58 got, what is this angle? 64. Okay. Now what do you want to find out? Find angle XYQ. You recognize the angle, which angle coming? XYQ. XYQ is the sum of which angles? Is XYZ and ZYQ. Just add them. So we can see the step. So XYQ is equal to angle XYZ plus angle ZYQ. So what is XYZ? 64. What is ZYQ? 58. Add and see how much coming correct now? No. We have 122. No? So you correct and do right here. 8 plus 4, 12, the remainder 1, 6 plus 5, 11, 11 plus 1, 12. So here what is the answer coming? 122. Okay, correct and right here 122. Angle XYQ is equal to how much will come? 122. Clear? You should correct here 122 degree. And now next point you listen. Now next point you see. What is the question? You want to find out the reflex angle of QYP. Actually, what is QYP? QYP you knowing. What is the measure of QYP? 58. So now you can find out the reflex angle. Reflex angle of QYP is equal to 360 minus angle QYP. So what is the QYP measurement? How much given? 58. So 360 minus 58, how much will come? 302. Clear? So you got the angle answer properly now. And here you have to do correction. So same mistake you don't write in your notebook. Huh? Here add and see 122 degree. Clear? Okay, completed. Okay. See students, 6.1 all the sums we completed. 6.1 all the sums we completed. Okay. Now in lesson number 5, 2-3 sums I given for you as homework. So So some students asked me doubts, so that I am explaining which sums we skipped. Actually it is not skipped, I given for you as homework. So again some students asked as the doubts, so that I am explaining the whole semester. Listen, exercise 5.1 up to 4 I explained and given. And question number 5, listen. In question number 4, point C is called the midpoint of line segment AB. That we proved also. And prove that every line segment has one and only one midpoint. So we want to prove that all the line segment having one and only one midpoint. Only one midpoint. So very clearly you know in midpoint means, suppose for example, here C is the midpoint. If C is the midpoint, what's the measurement? AC, the measure of AC and BC should be equal. You are studied in the small classes. So if C is the midpoint, suppose if AC is equal to 5 coming, BC also will be 5. So logically thinking, very clearly you can understand that if the position of this point is here anywhere moving, the length, one length will decrease and one length will decrease. Then you won't be able to say C is the midpoint. Here your question is that prove that. So that we have to do in this way only. Okay, only calculation saying not possible. So listen here. Let us consider AB has two midpoints, that are C and D. We suppose C and D are the midpoints. If C is the midpoint, in question number 4 already we proved that AC is equal to half AB, already we proved. If C is the midpoint, we proved that AC is equal to half of the whole line segment AB, we proved in question number 4. So here they are already given that AC and BC are equal. AC and BC are equal given. The meaning is that C is the midpoint, only the word meaning. Therefore we prove that AC is equal to half AB. Okay, question number 1 you write. If D is the midpoint, then what will happen? AD is equal to half of AB. Yes or no? If D is the midpoint, then what will happen? AD is equal to half of the whole line segment only will come according to this condition. This already we proved. So this is first equation and this is the second equation. From 1 and 2 you see here RHS part is equal, no? RHS part equal, then what you can say? LHS part is equal. Okay? So AC is equal to AD. AC from 1 and 2 what you got? RHS part here a half AB, here also half AB. So that what you will get a LHS is equal. You are studied from axiom number 1. Okay? Therefore what you can say, AC and AD are equal. Is it both here in this diagram, in this way drawing AC and AD equal, can you able to write? No. But you got AC and AD are equal. AC and AD are equal, the meaning is that C and D should be the same point, then only possible. So AC is equal to AD implies that C and D are the same point. C and D are same points, the meaning is that C also a midpoint and D is also a midpoint. Therefore what you can say, every line segment has only one midpoint. Every line segment has only exactly one midpoint, not having more than one midpoint. But here we suppose C and D are the midpoints, two distinct midpoints. But we taken in such a way, but we got the answer what? C and D equal got. C and D equal, the meaning is that C is also midpoint and D is also midpoint. C and D are both are the midpoints. C and D are equal given. Equal given, the meaning is that C and D representing a single point. The meaning is that every line segment has only one midpoint. Every line segment has only one midpoint. Clear? Okay? Copy it all of you. Now, question number 6. Listen here. In the figure, if AC is equal to BD, then prove that AB equal to CD. What is given in the question? If AC equal to BD, AC and BD are equal, then what we want to prove that AB equal to CD. So here listen, AC is equal to BD. AC is BD already given in the question. We are taken given AC is equal to BD. So can you split this AC? See here. AC can you split in terms of line segments here? A to C. How can you split it? You can split AC as AB plus BC. AB plus BC is same as AC. See here. AB plus BC and AC are coincident. AB plus BC and AC are coincident. They are same. Therefore, AB plus BC is equal to what is coming? AC. So, in the place of AC, what I written? AB plus BC. Following now? Yes. Now, same way can you split BD? BD you see from where to where BD coming? From B to D. Therefore, BC plus CD. Understood? Okay. So, BC plus CD also what you can say? Coincident terms. See here BC plus CD same as BD. They are also same. So, what is written? AB plus BC is equal to BC plus CD. Okay, are you following now well? Okay. Now, what is your question? You want to prove that AB and CD are equal. We need only AB and CD. Again, we are going to apply here one axiom number 3. So, equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. Study now. So, AB plus BC is equal to BC plus CD equals. They are both are equals now. From that, we are going to subtract another equal. Which one? BC. BC we are subtracting in the LHS part and BC we are subtracting in the RHS part also. Are you following? Yes. So, BC minus BC will cancel. Here this BC and this minus BC will cancel. So, here what is remaining? AB. Here what is remaining? CD. So, we proved now. Very easy now this one. That is why it is given as formula. Okay, completed both. Both the sums complete fast. This also complete. And next sum also complete. Okay, completed? Okay, now move to the next question number 7 something. These are very simply logical sums only. You can write in your own words. Why is axiom number 5 is the list of in the list of Euclid's axioms considered as a universal truth? First of all, what is axiom number 5? The whole is greater than a part. Very clear now. You take any example, take a teacher simply taken an example here. You can write in your own words any examples you write. I taken an example, an apple you take and cut into 4 pieces, equal parts. Among that one part we are taking, you can very clearly you can understand that this one part is always less than the whole part. The meaning is that the whole apple is greater than one part. Yes, no? It is a universal truth. Any things you take a chocolate, you take a line segment, any of the things you take, one part of a line segment taking, that one part is always smaller than the whole, or we can say that the whole is greater than a part. That only. It is universally truthful. It is whatever the things you take, everywhere it will be correct only. It will be true. That is why we are accepted that axiom number 5 as the universal truth. You can write any examples. It is not compulsory the same example. Any examples you write. Okay. So the fifth axiom of Euclid is true for anything in any part of the world. So it is considered as universal truth. Okay students, 5.1 completed. So 5.2. 2 questions are there, that also I will explain very fast. Question number exercise 5.2, listen. How would you rewrite Euclid's fifth postulate? Euclid's fifth postulate, when I explained, in that time I told you this postulate there itself. Okay, sum is 180 coming, then what you can say? It is a parallel lines. So that only we are going to rewrite. So in here, in that postulate what is given? this angles less than two right angles coming, these two lines when extending in this side, it will intersect. But we are little modification given. So Euclid's fifth postulate can be restated as: when a straight line falls on two other straight lines M and N, four interior angles forming, 1, 2, 3, 4 interior angles forming. Okay. Then if the sum of two interior angles on the same side of the line L is 180, then the lines M and N will never intersect. So equal to 180 coming. In that Euclid's fifth postulate we are written as less than 180, less than two right angles. Here we are written equal to two right angles. Then what will happen? These lines will never intersect. Never intersecting, then what we are calling? These two lines are parallel lines. So this one we can call as parallel postulate also. See here. Once more read and see by yourself. Therefore the lines M and N are parallel lines, and it is also called as parallel postulate. In any of the questions, parallel postulate asking you write this one. Clear? Okay. Then move to the next one. Question number 2, last one. Does Euclid's fifth postulate implies the existence of a parallel lines? Sure. That only we explained the previous one. Yes. Euclid's fifth postulate implies the existence of parallel lines because if the sum of interior angles on the same side of the line L will be equal to sum of two right angles, then they will not intersect anywhere. Therefore, these lines M and N are called the parallel lines. So this line M and N we can call as parallel lines when the sum of these two angles is equal to sum of two right angles. That means equal to 180. Okay. Therefore, the lines M and N will be parallel if, condition I given downside you can see, if angle 1 plus 3 180, angle 2 plus 4 also 180. So this one. This also you can able to write in your own words. So you want to understand what is the concept. So that this only says